Thank you. I think the most powerful words, and I think, as somebody said, when you need to acknowledge something, you truly search for words. So first of all, I thank this great institute for felicitating me. In fact, when Dr. Papia sent me a mail and asked me that, we would like to felicitate you, the mail I sent to her was, am I worth of being felicitated? So, of course, she has been very, very nice, and she said, yes, you are, and that's what we had decided. Again, as I said, I can only say I'm humbled. I have been associated with this institute almost since inception, and I have very, very great memories in terms of teaching students, in terms of interacting with the faculty, in terms with interviewing students, and I always tell you that. And so first of all, let me acknowledge again and the dignitaries, Mr. Olson, Sanjay, Jagdish for his very, very kind words, Papia, on behalf of the Institute, offering me this great honor. And finally, I think the coincidence that I am being felicitated with one of my best friends in the industry, Mali. And for those of you who don't know, we are friends for last 18 years. And we are very, very close friends for last 18 years. And in fact, one of the jobs I succeeded in. So that's the kind of a relationship we have. And it was a pleasant surprise because Papia was really looking for some photographs, some videos, and I was busy in my 20-second acquisition. That's what I was busy, and I had just no time. And so when I came over here, and Jagdish, as you know, one of the things I envy him for is humor. Always and always, he says, he keeps seeing smile in my face, possibly because I listen to him every time. So that's the connection. And he said, you are looking great and you have more hairs. And I was just wondering, I hope I sent the right photographs. And Mr. Sanjay was also, in his very characteristic style, is very nice. In a very socially desirable way, he said that you look a little different. So pardon me for, possibly not sending the recent photographs of mine, because I was really, really struggling with this, as you know. And you work on mergers and acquisitions. The people on the corporate side, they would tell you that a lot of time goes into long calls in very odd hours because all your counterparts is in different time zone. I don't have much to say. Two things I'll tell you. One is about HR or being in HR, and the other one is being in the corporate and executive life. I think my own experience, the management education, why we get attracted to management education, why we want to get a degree or diploma or PhD in management. I think even 20 years back or today, and please pardon me for saying so, I think it is the aspirations which drives most of us to acquire a management degree. Same thing happened with me too. So the rule of the game is, it is aspirations which drives you. But I have only one thing to tell to all who teach management, who study management, who possibly in the future will teach people. Because in corporate it's all about teaching, no teaching, he says one of the greatest leadership experts who helped Jack Welch to create the great transformation in GE. And Jack Welch brought Noel Tichy from Columbia where he was teaching. And in one of his books he said, teachable point of view. He said in 21st century you must have leaders who can teach. And he said there are three things. One, first of you must have a view. I often say this to my team, because if you don't have a view, you are not a leader. The second, only when you can be a great teacher, when you have conviction. So if you have a view, you must be coupled with conviction. So in leadership is all about, and I will use two Hindi words, because that I think will actually tell you what is going to be the future of leadership. Yesterday I was being interviewed by an executive from GE. And GE does this exercise after 10 years. They look at the HR and they are looking at the future of leadership. So as a part of that, this gentleman came to interview me. I told him the same thing. I said, leadership in 21st century is going to be a combination of two things. Buddhi. Buddhi is intellect, and that you learn in management education. And that must be coupled with bhakti. Bhakti is devotion. And devotion is not taught anywhere. Devotion is built. So while you study, you have to build this devotion. So the next generation leadership is going to be a combination of buddhi and bhakti. And coming back to what is the relationship with aspirations and competence? To all my fellow students, I have only one thing to tell. You are driven by aspirations and gain competence. So when you go out of the institute, make sure it is no more the aspirations, but the competence which drives you. Change the rule of the game. If competence drives you, you will attain your aspirations easily. So when you go out of this institute, let alone the competence drive you. My last 2 cents for being in HR, as Mali said, and we are great friends because both of us are a great believer that, we often hear this, whether HR is at the table or on the table. And we strongly believe that it is the individual HR person which makes difference. And perhaps, Jagdish also said in his characteristic style, and being a very, very successful CEO, I think he spoke from his experience. There is no HR agenda, there is business agenda. So, whether if you want to determine as an HR professional, whether you are at the table or on the table, the differentiation will come from your ability. How do you transform your own agenda, the HR agenda, dovetail into business agenda? If you can able to do that, you'll be very successful. And the only challenge which I see for HR professionals, and I have no answer to the question, but I can tell you the problem. And that's what I said in my interview yesterday with the GE folks. They said, what is going to be the single most problem? And I have already started experiencing this, especially in the Indian context, where aspirations have grown, I would say, much, much beyond what it was 10 years back, or even 5 years back. It is getting transformed, the aspirations of people. And I believe there is only one reason behind this in India, where you produce 730,000 engineers and 150,000 MBAs every year. And that is how do I make an individual feel significant? I strongly believe all the people in this room, or at least most of us, we have crossed the stage of the lower level of Maslowian hierarchy. We are no more in the level of roti kapra makan. Even the reason why we want a management education, even we want a raise in our organization, even we want to be recognized by the organization, there is only one thing. All of us in 21st century wants to feel significant. So I think the biggest challenge of all the corporate will be for 21st century, and of course HR has to dwell with that. I don't know how we'll do that. How do I make feel everybody significant? Because every individual will ask this question, do I mean something to you as an individual? Do I mean something as an individual to an organization? Do I mean something as a part of the family member? Do I mean something as a part of the community? Possibly that's the biggest collective challenge we all have to deal with. And those of us as an individual level, those of us at an organizational level, and many of us at the community level, be able to do that, I think success will be for them. And not only the success, the inner satisfaction will be for them in 21st century. Thank you once again to my dear students, the faculty member, and all the dignitaries present on the dais for honoring me. And I humbly recognize the small effort I have put in. And I'll just echo the last word which Jagdish says, hum tak kar lenge. Thank you very much.